Okay, so it's 8 a.m. I have my morning coffee. And I want to show you how I did the Pathfinder Season 7 intro. So let's start this shit. So let's start it off by showing the stock footage, I call it. Stock footage of the beginning and the end. The beginning and the end clip are actually switched around, as the beginning clip is technically after the clip that is at the end, but it just fit better with what I had in my mind. Let's call it that. I recorded that clip by using the what's it called? I think it's like called the phosphor filter in Minecraft. So basically I got the map which was actually played in the recorded round, and I just ran around in it, around the spawn, and I ran towards the big spawn thingy. Next, moving on, what did I do here? I had yeah, used motion tile for this upcoming little party trick, which doesn't seem to be wanting to work. Oh, because I have... No, wait, what? Oh, that's because I disabled effects. I'm stupid, I'm sorry. Yeah, I just put a little blur on it so it looks neater, and as you can see, the motion tile allows me to stack the video on top of each other. So basically I can have like something like a film roll going on, which is very nice. Nice coffee. And yeah, it's a really nice trick to make it just generally look cool. Okay, let's put this back on. And here we come to the main piece, which is the actual composition of the intro, which is made up by a fuck ton of parts. Let's keep it at that. So currently you see three layers. Well, basically it's more like two, because this blue thing is also a layer. It's just there to fill the void in case some shit goes down. I intended to change it for every color that the teams are going to be in, but then I thought, well, I'm a lazy fuck, so who gives a shit really? Then let's explain how the players work. So players condensed, which is one of the million compositions I have for this. This is a lot. So here I have all the drawings. You don't need to see that. Backgrounds is all the background pictures for every single one. They are split into three parts, as you can see here. Let's try to catch this part. So yeah, you can see there's one part, there's the middle part, thank you for auto saving, and there's the third part, which is the sky, and then they are converted into a 3D layer, which is then rotated or moved accordingly to how I want it to be moved. For the background, I used a simple, well, not really a simple, it's a pretty hardcore plugin called Magic Bullet Looks, and I have to look at this phone message because it... Okay, I got thrown off, I'm sorry. Magic Bullet Looks, hardcore plugin, does a lot of stuff, eats a lot of resources, but is definitely worth it. This is to just show how it looks like. Also, it's raining, so I don't want to go outside, but I have to. They have a lot of presets for this kind of stuff. Yeah. For example, star filter if you want to look like out of orbit nowadays. Or swing tilt film. I'll be probably using that someday because I really like tilt shift. I really do like it, just don't question. And there's like a lot of effects to choose it, or you can just go and do it yourself. Tools, yeah, for example, you can change all kinds. Spotlight, fill light, matte, sky filters, gradients. You can basically make yourself your own Top Gear episode in this motherfucker. Yeah, moving on. Let's show how the players are made up. So the players are made up of three parts if you look at this main section of the video, which is the left part of the players, which is always going to be the players who are on the left. These are the two for the first background. The next is, yeah, the right one, which is obviously everything on the right. And then I just squash them together into the BG1 players, which means that they are put together and then accordingly moved, and then they do their little thing. Also, a little Easter egg, if you watch closely in this one, you will maybe figure it out. I don't know if you will, but more power to you, honestly. This is where I put the text on as well, because otherwise it would be quite taxing on this main stage, as I call it. I usually call it just main, but I felt like main stage would fit better. Yeah, lots of blurring, lots of little effects. Talking about effects, let's talk about the effects on the players, which are basically shape layers. For example, here's all the dotting and stuff for a very nice, or I use red solids in general, which basically look like this. So I take the layer of the drawing, for example, because this is the drawing for very nice, and then with some little alpha track matte magic, I can make it fit to this. For example, this is just a complete screen red solid, so without the matte, it's completely red. But otherwise, it's a nice looking matte, and when I put Venetian blinds on it, which is this fancy effect, so you can see lines over it, I can bend it to my own will. Usually, every single player has at least two types of things that are going on top of the normal player drawing. Then again, I got a bit lazier on the end part, but that's on me, honestly. Same goes for the backgrounds as well. As we open background number 1, which is for the first two teams, I also used, like, apart from the 3D layers, which are this one, this one, I used the same kind of effect. But on the first layer, it's a bit different. As for the first layer, I still thought that I had to use a colored layer. I still didn't know about the track matte thing. Actually, I found out about it like a week later, after I actually started working on this intro. So I decided to just take the pictures, super sampled 4K for highest quality pixels. Then I cut them up in Photoshop. Then for the first two teams' backgrounds, which is BG1, I didn't think of using the track matte, so I just did a layer selection in Photoshop and just colored the thing to have the colors I wanted. I originally wanted to use colors of the people that are which are on the screen currently. For example, as Very Nice and Jacob are Team Red, shown by their names. I thought that maybe I should put red effects behind it, but that turned out to be a bit of a struggle, since I would be basically doubling the stuff in here. So I would, instead of having 7 layers, I would probably have, like, I don't know, like 11 or 13 even, because you can't really change the colors of these ones, not that I really know of. Maybe you can do some hue stuff, but that's beyond me for now. But yeah, for after that, it's basically the same thing repeated a lot. Nice 3D effects and some just making the background not look static, because that's one of the things I really wanted to avoid with having such an intro, that the background was solid. Even in my other intros, I've never really had, actually not really, I've never had a static background except for one of the cinema intros I have, which was kind of helped by Sid to make the background. Basically, I really dislike static backgrounds because they're just like, yeah, Minecraft. I went and figured out a way to make them look a bit better, which is by adding the same random effects on these 3 layers. For example, this is layer number 1, this is layer number 2, and layer number 3, and I just did it completely normally again. It just makes it more alive, in my opinion. Yeah, then moving on is this clip, which is a deleted clip because when I upload recorded rounds, I just go and delete the footage because I don't need it and just keeps on taking up space. These 2 in-between clips, both of which are using motion tile. For example, let's go to in-between one. I think I made it a bit too fast but I didn't really want to show what was going on in there at the same time. By the way, both of them clips, I think I said that already, but they are actually used, they are a part of my perspective, so if you find that out, more power to you. Moving on, there's still some stuff, yeah, just, this is just a Jaws transition, which is this thing. Basically, I had to look at what every transition does, and then I just took every single one I had, and then, I mean, every single one that I could use and not make it look stupid, so basically took that and just incorporated it in some way, shape or form in here. Another motion tile, another 3D movement, just some, this was page turn or something like that. It's somewhere else, it's not in the transitions, I think. But yeah, this is how it basically has been built up to and by. And as a little fun fact, actually 2 fun facts, the effects are a homage to a music video. Good luck finding that one out. And the background moving is a homage to an opening for a game. Pretty much, well, I think I said enough so that people can figure out what that is. And yeah, and then it goes back to the same footage as I had in the beginning. There's also a little fault in the video. I hope you can actually find it, because it's actually kind of funny, because I only noticed it when I was making the intro, and I was like, do I really want to redo this thing, because it technically would take 5 minutes to just re-record the 1-minute clip I have in here and just speed it up again. But I decided not to, and I just kept it in for funsies. If you notice it, I don't know, scream something in the comments box or whatever. But yeah, this was it. This was my big ass tour of my pretty much largest intro project so far. But yeah, anyways, thank you so much for watching and listening. This was Kiinako, and I will see you next time.